Welcome back on another Sunday of the Transition Talk Show. I am your host, Train. I'm glad for everyone who always tapping in with us and tuning in every Sunday. This week, I got a very special guest in the house, a good brother of mine, Cordero, Roland. He's a motivational speaker. He's an entrepreneur. He's a person, man. He's a living testimony, man, but a walking success story. And I'm glad to be able to have him on the show today. What's going on, man?
What's going on, brother?
Man, I really don't even know. Like, the day kind of just wired up right now.
Right.
What I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't even really know how to just go with the show. Most people who know when they come on the show, they realize we ain't got no scripts, no nothing.
Right.
You know what I mean? But I got so much of overflow going on.
Yeah,
you know
buddy.
what I mean? But it's what we talk about.
Man, all
you
the
know
time.
What I mean? So, you know, and it's good to have somebody, you know, in your corner who really do know how to motivate you.
Yeah.
See, one thing that I realized, people would say, well, who helps the one who always helping?
Mm-hmm.
Or who motivates the one that's always motivated?
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
In other words, who pours in the person that pours out?
Right.
Yeah.
But to be able to know that, man, we have one another.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And more brothers along with us.
Yeah.
But who does this on a day-to-day basis, which means that this is life.
Yes.
It's not a job.
Yeah.
It's who I am.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And one thing about you, man, that I've came to learn, that it's just who you are.
Yeah.
You know, so to inspire someone else or to empower someone else, it seems fluent and easy.
Yeah.
Because, man, it's just who you are.
Right.
And one of the things I want you to be able to share with people, man, is why it's just who you are.
I think you find out who you are through your trials and tribulations. So I'm from a small little town we call Terrell, but you know the Southern we say Turl. We throw you in there. We from Turl. And so I didn't know who I was until I started paying attention, man. We come from so much torment and a family of dysfunction. You know, I come out in a single parent home and I started losing things early on. I've lost my mom at 13 or 12, and then 6 months later I lost my grandmother. Those are the key individuals in my life. You know what I mean? So I went through the trauma, fighting, counseling, couldn't take a mama joke to save my life, you know what I mean? And I was so angry because you imagine burying a mother and having to kiss their cold face. That messed me up in a major way. But I was raised by a community. I shout out to Coach Larry. I had a Coach Larry who looked out for me. I had an Uncle Zach that made sure I was straight. You know, so what guided me through that was love. So love helped me heal. Then I had to understand it's okay to talk to somebody because, you know, when you're in the hood like we were, you didn't really see too many people expressing how they feel, especially young men. We couldn't go to somebody and say, I'm in my feelings or I feel a certain way. You couldn't cry a certain way. And so when I lost those key individuals, my aunt raised me, but again, hurting people hurt other people.
Right.
And so as I got older, I started to realize, I can ask this question because back then you were told you couldn't ask nothing. You know, everything was secretive back then. I didn't start understanding. My mother had me at around 14, 15 to after she passed. And I'm going back in my history trying to learn my culture, where I come from, where my traits come from. My father didn't claim me. I got two older brothers that we're good now. But to go through all of that dysfunction, and I never forget my grandmother, I was that song Grandma's Hands, that's me. I was with her everywhere she went. I was up under my grandmother. So what was passed down to her, she passed down to me, and what she instilled in me was the fear of God. Now, I understood the fear side, but I didn't understand who I am. Why am I king, or why do I have a light? Where I got that understanding was being in a village. So, because sometimes we get in church and we go for what we see of appearance. And I saw past that. I was like, I don't care about a title. I don't care about clothes. I came from nothing, so I didn't care about clothes anyway. Right. And what I loved about my grandmother that she instilled in me was not to care. Yeah. If it ain't good, don't care about it. Because what is that doing to me if somebody trash me and laugh at me for what I have on versus who I am? And you know what I mean?
It's powerful that you even said that, man. Today, as I was dropping my youngest son back off at the house, right? And man, he's 12 going on 13.
Wow.
He has like cocked and loaded full of questions.
Yeah.
And some of the questions you may not be ready for.
Mm-hmm.
But I've learned to express myself in my vulnerable state.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So even with my children. So he asked me, he was like, you know, Dad, you know, when you was young and you was doing that stuff that you was doing or whatnot, did my mom ever try to tell you to stop?
Mm-hmm.
And he wouldn't say, like, when you was selling drugs.
Yeah. He was being respectful.
Yeah. You know what I mean? So I was like, I said, man, yeah, you know what I mean? She did. But I was like, and I told him, I said, man, you know, no, what he said was, he said, when you was growing up, was it tight on you?
Mm-hmm.
I said it was.
Yeah.
And I said, man, that's why I did some of the things that I did to make it looser on me.
Mm-hmm.
Even though I was able to accumulate some things, I still lost more of myself from what it was that I was doing.
Mm-hmm.
And with my children, man, it allows me to be able to be in that space with them because when you love something so much, you don't want to sugarcoat life.
Yeah.
You don't want to manipulate life. Mm-hmm. You want to give it to them that they can truly understand, that they can have a greater walk in their life. Mm-hmm. Let you be the example. Even in your era, let it be an example, you know. And being that example, I trust the outcomes. Yeah. Even before I see it. Mm-hmm. I trust the outcomes now, you know what I mean? Because you can ask me these things now, and I can give you a good answer now because I'm better in life now. Yeah. So you can even see, you know what I mean, the outcome of myself. Mm-hmm. So, man, why would I not be willing to give this to you, you know,
you
so you can have a better answer?
Yeah. That's what's key in our community, man, having a male role I can get understanding from. And then you're a father. I'm a father now. And my pastor said something very powerful. He said, I'm everything to my children that my father wasn't to me. Yeah. And so that's what I'm the same way. I point to my children. I talk to them. And I always give them that room where they can ask me questions because that's needed. You know, I came up where I could ask a little bit, but that was it. And so when you're growing up, as I become an adult and I got around wisdom really saved my life because I applied it. Most times you can give it to them, but as the old school say, it goes in one ear and come out the next. Yeah. And then what you hope to do is when you raise them up right, you pray to God that they come back to the word and use what you instilled in them. Yeah. Because after that, once they hit a certain age, they're held accountable at that point. Yeah. And so now that's how I found out who I was, because I used to wonder, like, why are these people acting different toward me and they had more than me, right? And I was like, then one day it dawned on me, I said, I have to be somebody for them to be acting like that toward me. And a wise woman told me, she said, sometimes God will allow them to see who you are to become. Mm-hmm. And if they don't have the understanding and wisdom, that'll pose as a threat. Mm-hmm. Versus as them helping you, they start finding ways to hurt you, try to cut you off from getting to where you're supposed to go. And that's when I came up with the motto, if I can't build with you, I can't chill with you. Because I understood the power in every time I get around.
Hold on. Stop. Before you go any further, say that slogan one more time.
If I can't build with you, I can't chill with you.
Man, I'm going to tell you something. Ever since you told me that, I have literally, you know what I mean, I've honored that in my own personal life. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, sometimes you can genuinely be a person who wants all for all. Yeah. You know what I mean? But I can't give you all of me. You know what I mean? Yeah. When you have nothing to give me. Yeah. You get what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And so you have to know what it means to genuinely love yourself first.
100%.
You know, that you understand the reciprocation of love.
It's necessary.
You have to.
Yeah, because if you don't do that, you can mess around and pour your pitcher, and you went from living water to Sahara Desert because you were pouring into people who are already dry and they had nothing else to give to you. And so I learned to look for builders and not people that's in the demolition department. Because if you're tearing down, you don't even understand the concept of building, because you'll look at a brick as a weapon versus a tool that we can use and build something together. And so as I became successful with first a peace of mind, because people think what we were talking about earlier, the difference between award and a reward.
Yep.
The reward is understanding what peace is. Having peace is a key to success. Because what good is success if you don't have peace?
Hold on, before we go into success, right?
Yeah.
Because I got a question that I want to ask you about success. You know, let's first go into this first video.
Cool.
And then when we come back, man, we're gonna jump right back into it with Cordero Roland.
On some real shit, I know you and your feelings, and I know you be willing, but I'm a lot to deal with. So I'm leaving, I swear you're not the reason. I'm dealing with some demons, I can't believe you're still here. I don't wanna put you through nothing else. If we don't work out, I want you to have something left. Keep pushing, you gon' run out of breath. Ooh. If you don't wanna hurt no more, if you don't want me on your nerves no more, you better run now. Run now. If you don't wanna hurt no more, if you don't want me on your nerves no more, you better run out. Why don't you save yourself? Get away from me. Why don't you save yourself? Get away from me. You better run out the door while you still can. Ain't no one stopping you. You stay with me, it's suicide. I'm just wanting you. And I know you probably wonder why I'm telling you this. You can do better with another guy if you stop being foolish and stupid. But to separate from me, I'm way too toxic. Got a lot of weight on me, I ain't processed. Oh, she ain't going nowhere, she got her mind made up. Been through so much over love, been through so much, I had enough. Why don't you save yourself? Get away from me. Save yourself. Why don't you save yourself? Get away
We back on the Transition Talk Show. If you just now joining, I have a special guest in the house, Cordero Roland. Before we went to the first song, man, you was about to go into talking about success. And I got a question for you, man.
Yes, sir.
How much success do you feel a person can literally have without vulnerability?
I would say if the first word I hear is, as my grandmother say, take your time. So when you take your time and understand where you're going, you can have an endless amount of success, but you want to have a structure. So if you had that structure, man, I remember I saw this quote years ago as a kid. It says, if you shoot for the moon, even if you don't hit the moon, you still land amongst the stars. I truly believe in that, bro, because where I'm at now, the altitude I'm on, there's no limit to success. But if you don't have a structure, that can be your disaster, because what you don't want to be is a public success and a private failure. Because I remember I heard Steve Harvey say this, you're going to have to sacrifice something. If I give you time, I'm not going to have the money. But if I go for the money, I'm going to have to sacrifice some time. But the good part about that is if you build up enough revenue, I can come back and get time.
Right.
You know?
And a good motivational speaker, man, Les Brown. He got a saying that he always say, that if there's no enemy within, then there's no enemy outside.
True.
So then when you begin to think about your success, because everybody looking for success, and they're also trying to look in, with their eyes, they trying to picture what success is, and that's not what success is
at all.
So to me, when you can get past all the fears, when you can get past all the stress and all the worries around what it is that you see in you,
right,
you remove that, you already became successful.
Yeah. It's really finding your path.
Exactly.
Because some people try to find something to do and they don't love that. You just doing it just because you making money. But if you don't really love that, over time you can see the toll it takes on an individual. Right? I've seen men who had great careers, but they were stressed out. It put age on them. Seen women that do the same thing and they didn't love it.
Right.
So also I learned too, on the path I'm going down, I love seeing people restored. That's one of my jewels that I believe God blessed me with, because I help people heal.
Yeah.
Hurt people hurt other people.
Yeah.
But when you healed, I'm fully restored, but that does not mean I don't have human moments.
Yeah.
So my success now is giving other people that success. Because if I give you a peace of mind, you can flow in success.
Yeah.
When I ask you, one time we was talking, I said, man, one thing I learned of value is considering me. Because when you're a giver, you'll forget you. Like you'll do it unintentionally, like, man, I want this person to win so bad, and then I got so many, my hands are like this, but when I look back, it's nothing covering me.
Right.
So if I don't keep myself in the equation, then I wonder why I'm getting head trauma, unnecessary roughness, violations on this side, because I made bad connections. So then I had to learn, let me withdraw and sit back and watch first before I move.
And what's so crazy about that is, man, I'm real king on telling people that one goes into everything, but don't nothing go into one.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I always have to consider me
have to.
in the equation.
Yep.
Because if I don't, the equation already wrong.
It's gone. Yeah, that's bad.
So, and that's real imperative, because you have to know how you see you.
Yeah.
And be genuine with yourself about that.
When you look in the mirror, brother, you did something very powerful. When you look in the mirror, you have to understand who you are.
Yeah.
Now I can say when I look in the mirror, I'm king.
Yeah.
I have to king me. I take very good care of myself. The reason why, because I understand the value in me.
Right.
I can't help nobody else if I need help. I'm no good to you if I'm no good to myself.
Yeah.
Period.
And it's crazy, man, because every time when I do begin to coach people, and I do the mirror reflections,
Yeah.
it amazes me on how many people look into the mirror just to wash your face,
Yeah.
comb your hair, brush your teeth, but never speak to you, never greet you.
Yeah.
I'm so ready to greet somebody else. I'm so ready to wake up to somebody else. I'm so ready to go involve myself with somebody else. But I didn't even say, hey, man, hey, Tron, how you doing?
Yeah.
Man, I'm so glad you woke up. I'm happy to see you.
Yeah.
Man, whatever you do today, be good at what you do, because I want to see you at the end of this day.
Yeah.
It's important to pour into you.
Yeah.
But to pour into you in a way that you look to pour out.
Yeah.
So it's the reciprocations of life.
100%.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And we wonder sometimes why our reciprocation ain't what we feel like we putting out.
Yeah, because what it is, when you start doing the outward, you forget the inward.
Inward.
I posted this early, and it was amazing because my pastor, he confirmed what I said while I was in there posting, because sometimes when I'm in church, God will give me these words, and I had to write them down because it's like an outpour. It's a refresher. Like you click the refresh button, what was there is gone, and something else is there. So what happened was, I said, you have to learn to work in, because if you don't work in, it will not work out. You have to work in, meaning work on yourself. See, I always do a recap of me, always. I always do a self-examination. Like if I'm in something and something's off, I'm like, was I wrong? Am I doing something wrong? Or then once I know, I'm like, no, because I crossed my I's and dot my T's. It wasn't me. It was the individual. Because a lot of people, man, believe it or not, are intimidated by your purpose, not knowing they have a purpose too.
Yeah.
I remember in this vision, I saw a table that had no end. And I smiled because I understand what that vision means. It's enough to go around, but people won't stay seated.
Right.
Do you believe in yourself? Sit down. Grandma say sit down somewhere and learn. Be able to learn from each other. I remain a student in the game always, because I can learn from everybody, but I watch who I'm around. Yeah. Because if I know I'm a smart, intelligent being, let me make sure I'm in a room with other smart, intelligent people. Man. I don't want to be the smartest person in the room. Man, I went to take too much out of you.
I went to an event last night, and it was a powerful young lady that was there, very knowledgeable, and good at what she does.
Right.
But man, I'm a person I vibe.
Yeah.
which means that, man, I feel.
Yeah, me too.
And being being an empath,
yeah,
I naturally feel.
mm-hmm.
You know, so I can resonate with the feelings, right? And she made a statement about, you know, one entity
Mm-hmm.
and her as another entity. But when it was over, she came out and saying wanted to be just one entity, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I told her, I was like, look, when you know you're an elephant in a room,
yeah,
you ain't got to go trying to stump. You know what I mean?
yeah, you don't have to
You don't have to
explain
show that
Yeah.
because it's gonna be seen.
Mm-hmm.
And I allowed her to know two things.
Mm-hmm.
Think of the size of an elephant.
Yeah.
There's no way a person don't know it's an elephant.
Oh yeah, you gonna hear that sound,
right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Seriously.
But I also show her the nature
Mm-hmm.
of elephants and
Yeah.
their acting with one another.
Mm-hmm.
Elephants are tribal.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And they travel together.
Mm-hmm.
So if togetherness is what you want, then let that be what come out of your mouth.
Yeah, because when you speak something, people can feel an insecurity. They can feel a defense mechanism. Say, oh, okay, this person finna come out and say, I remember I seen somebody post something. The first thing they said, I don't want to hear what you got to say, and said they's piece.
Mm-hmm.
You shouldn't have posted it because you know people going to respond. And I always say this too, what's understood don't have to be explained.
Said, yeah.
But this is my piece I added, but what's not explained can be misunderstood. But an elephant, you don't have to explain it. You can
ain't
feel
got
that. Even I say this in the water. You understand the difference between a tadpole and a whale. I say, it's more fish in the sea, but I'm looking for the great white.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, but one of the things that, in talking about, because I want you to be able to talk about, you know, man, your motivation or your entrepreneurship and some of the things and how you really helping other people, right?
Mm-hmm.
But one of the things, man, that about you that really, man, draw me to you, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is that you're a person that really know how to stand on what it is
Right.
that you say.
Right.
You know what I mean? So
Mm-hmm.
it's like, I believe this.
Yeah.
The mouth
Can say
Can-
anything.
listen, the mouth, I'm just
yeah. I know you finna go. Yeah.
In 10 steps,
Mm-hmm.
the mouth can almost put out 50 to 100 words.
Mm-hmm.
But it's only 10 steps.
Yeah.
Which means that, man, I look for the aligning.
Mm-hmm.
Is your feet matching what your mouth saying?
Mm-hmm.
Because your feet can't move.
You can tell me
like your
anything.
mouth moves.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Seriously.
You know what I
Seriously.
mean? So you're a person, man, that your action,
Mm-hmm.
you know what I mean, is your words
Mm-hmm.
first,
Yeah.
and your words second.
Yeah.
You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's important when you are out here, you know, and people want to know people.
Yeah.
People want to be able to entrust in people.
Mm-hmm.
Especially in these times right now where people feel that they're at lack.
Yeah.
People feel like, you know what I mean, they're at shortage.
Mm-hmm.
People feel like, you know what I mean, the economy is messed up. But so everyone wants to be ahead,
Yeah.
but not knowing it's almost like chickens without heads.
Yeah.
You know, so who to instill trust in is important.
Yeah.
You know, but first I got to be able to know myself to even know what I'm looking out at.
Yeah.
And what am I looking at in order to be able to allow me to know that I can.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because can is a power word.
It is.
You know, you know what I mean?
Really.
So I want to make sure that I'm in full power
Mm-hmm.
in everything that I'm doing. You know what I mean? And
100%.
because when I'm not sure about these things, then it's going to show in everything.
That's why I learned in the power and showing up. Because like you said, I'm a man of action because I remember in the season where I didn't have anything, but the people that were a help to me, I remember their action. So when I started the go down this journey called being what I want to see, I said, let me understand the power in showing up. And I never forget when I was showing up for other people. And shout out to my big bro Jay too. I never forget, if I wouldn't have showed up to support my brother D. Clark, I would have never met Jay. I would have never met you.
Right.
Because I showed up for somebody else, met Jay, shared my experiences with him, and we've been connected ever since. And then he invited me to the event y'all had at the park with I think it was barbecue and cigars.
Yeah.
Powerful event. And I always understand to appreciate people. I know the difference between appreciation and depreciation. What's an asset and what's a liability. So I was like, I have to be an asset. If I'm an asset into the equation, they gonna remember that. Like, no, this brother showed up
Yeah.
when I had my event. So I understand the power in breaking bread. That's where people mess up because they say they want somebody to do it for them, but you don't like and share nothing. I watch people actions too, bro. I'm key on that because you could tell me anything, but I'll sit back and watch. I'm a great observation specialist because before I come around and lock arms with you, I want to see, are you sharing? Are you speaking life into people? Or are you just kind of fronting, throwing your elbow out there to let people see your arm? Or where your hands at?
Man, say, listen. And I'm giving some game away. You know what I mean? Just being straight up. I'm giving some game away. Most people, you know, they are trauma bonded experts.
100%.
You know what I mean? In every relationship. And they will hold on to those because they are still living within their traumas. You know, and it became the normal, which ain't normal.
At all.
Right? And when I realized that about myself, I realized it in doing the development of my own spirit. And as I began to develop within my own spirit, I moved outside of bonding and trauma and started bonding in spirit. So when I tell people a lot of times, and that's why I say I'm giving up game. Right. Because when we talk, when y'all see me and we talking and some things come out, I just want you to know where I'm coming from. Just right. You know what I mean? But when I start saying trauma bonded, I'm pretty much telling you, you know what I mean? I'm seeing it. But I can see it because I'm spirit bonded. Right. So even inside of the traumas, I can see it. You know what I mean? Yeah. But it don't mean I'm finna bond with you.
100%.
You get what I'm saying? Because, man, I'm spirit bonded, which means that, man, I'm moving in spirit. I'm moving within a source to be a greater resource. So I understand why some things come. You get what I'm saying? So when you understand these things, man, you have a better understanding about you, but you have a better movement about you.
You said the key word, understanding.
Man, because hey, listen, man. If you know, if I can understand, I know what you stand under. You get what I'm saying? So, and that's important for people to be able to decipher for themselves. But the only way you got to be tapped into yourself.
If you're not tapped into who you are, you can't acknowledge what's around you.
You can't.
You can't know a difference between a con artist if you want, a liar if you lying. So I learned the power of being around a village because people believe in a village of raised children, but we also as adults need that village too. Because I don't want to always have an outpour. I need to be poured in as well. That's why I surround myself around great wisdom. Infinite wisdom, because I know this person is of wisdom. This person over here got foolish behavior. There's a bunch of shenanigans going on over here, and I know not to go over here. And that's what you have to learn how to pivot and learn how to be still.
Man, it's one thing I knew I didn't have in life, right? I knew I didn't have mentors. So for me to develop into a great man, you know, I realized I needed some men. And I also realized it because I didn't have great men to identify with, you know what I mean, and growing. So when I understood it, when I started, you know, reaching out, I also began to put money into investing.
Investing.
You know what I mean? And I realized I needed to go on a tour, a life with a man. You know what I mean? And that's what mentor means. What's what a mentor is to me. A man that can take you on a tour of life.
Man.
You know what I'm saying?
I like that.
Life is something that's living. It ain't dead. So, and I tell people, man, feed me life, don't feed me dead.
I'm telling you.
You know what I mean? So when I began to get my mentors, man, I began to start to see my actual growth as a man. You get what I'm saying? And then I began to realize who I can turn to just for wisdom.
It's key.
You know, man, my coaches, you know, one of my coaches, rather, you know, and then I have a great mentor, man, Mr. Davis. Now, mind you, I have a few mentors that's younger than me.
And ain't nothing wrong with that either. Because people look at stuff at age, but you can have an old fool and a young dummy.
Listen, man. I'm going to show you what I heard. I show you what I heard, man. It was early in the week. And it was saying that, you know, when a person finally become awakened to themselves, you know, if a person 15 begin to awaken in themselves at 15, but then you didn't wake up until yourself until 45. then this 15-year-old, you know what I mean, has quite
he got
more.
He gonna quantum leap big time.
You know what I mean? Then this
he got a head
45.
start.
So I can learn from the 15 because I'm a babe in myself.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? So age has nothing to do with
at
it.
all.
You know, and that's something that we have to learn how to remove our equations.
Yeah.
You know, so we can actually receive what it is.
And it's 2 words to add to that. It's called It's called exposure and expectation. Even though that young man or young individual, they could have got exposed to something great early.
Yeah.
They parent probably had wealth. So when they got up, they didn't have to hit the ground running like we did. We came through adversity, torment, all kind of stuff taken from us. So we were having to learn on the wing.
Right.
Our success was a dope dealer. You know what I mean? Be true. We grew up in the hood. We saw somebody in a fancy car. That was success. He the man. Versus that young individual who wake up and they in tile floors, marble floors, and they can move at a pace where I can take you over and get taught this.
Right.
So of course, boom, that light bulb gonna click on him early versus this person. It may not hit us to 30, 40, 50, even 60. Look at what's his name? One of the wealthiest men in the world. He didn't gain his wealth till he was in his 50s and 60s.
Man, you talking about I'm finna tell you, Buffett.
Warren Buffett. Exactly.
Warren Buffett.
Because it took him time to learn that. Now imagine he had that wisdom when he was 15.
Yeah.
So what I learned was is exposure and expectation. And let me add this to it as well. It's never too late to learn. Long as you got breath in your body, you have time.
Somebody else, man, you know, because we black folk,
Mm-hmm.
you know what I mean? And we love chicken.
Yeah. Oxtails, etc.
You know what I mean? But Colonel Sanders was the same way.
Yeah.
You know, old in his age before he ever really received, you know what I mean, the abundance of his fruit, of his labor, you know what I mean? So, you know, that's important to even be able to know age ain't nothing, you know what I mean? It's just a number.
Yeah.
You know, plus you can't the spirit is timeless.
Yeah. It is.
So you can't put
you will never stop learning either. Yeah. That's why you have to understand. I understand now more than I did then the power of influence. Who are you influenced by? And I look at this too. I remember when we was children, we got exposed to show and tell. So if you can show me something, like you say, your mouth in your hand, if you can show me something, you can tell me anything, but show me your formula. Because that's what I look for in success in business now. Who has that formula? You can tell me you make $100,000 a month. Means nothing to me if you can't show me how to make a steady $8,000 or $9,000.
Right.
Because most people used to ask this question: how much money will it take you to leave your job? If you don't have that number, that's why I tell people you have to know before you go. You got to learn how to move strategic in this game because, believe it or not, people are playing Monopoly from the corporate world to the church world. But people try to blame it on the church. Oh, I'm church hurt, but you don't talk about work hurt. You don't talk about entrepreneur hurt. That's what that's called. You see what I mean? We have to learn these values and get understanding in anything we doing. That's why I love the word for what it is when it says, "In all thy getting, get understanding."
Right.
I say this: 98% of anything we gonna do is knowing. You gotta know how it works.
And you know what? I'm gonna tell you something, man. You have more people who really speak off of thought, just thinking, rather than knowing.
Yeah.
And my first thing is I ask a person, "What's your name?"
Right. Seriously.
Tell me the stuff that you know.
Exactly.
And speak about that in that type of confidence, because what you know, you can't be speaking about what you think with high confidence. You don't even know that.
You don't even know how to do.
You get what I'm saying?
You don't know how it works.
But you have people that would debate in high confidence on what they think.
And have no idea the slightest.
Rather than having conversations on what it is you naturally know.
Right.
Because in what you know is how you grow. And that's how you help another be able to grow.
Yeah.
Man, that's what we're pouring out. I'm not pouring into you what I don't know.
Right. I'm giving you what I've learned, my experience.
Through my experience.
Exactly.
So when we experience base, because base is something that's natural.
Yeah.
You
Seriously.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So then that's how we can begin to, man, pour into other people, and we can see other people begin to grow, because now we're growing out what we know, not what we think.
That's the most important thing in life, man. And I've evolved fast going that way. I said, let me get around this brother and see what he's doing, because it's not hard to become a millionaire. What's hard is finding your purpose. What do I want to do? Because you might be great with keys, great with cars, great with dogs. I might not want to brush Clifford. That's your gift.
Yeah.
I might try to, and this is where we make mistakes at. Oh, I'm gonna try to do what Train doing. That ain't your call, bro.
Yeah.
And then you get mad because you're not successful. I might give you the blueprint.
Oh, but they not gonna get mad at themselves.
Yeah, they gonna be
get
mad at you.
me.
Yeah,
because you watched me.
yeah, you're not skilled at that, man. I seen people try to come behind me and mark me, and it don't work, and they upset. I'm like, I didn't tell you to go this route. I asked you specifically. That's the key word, specification. What are you specific in? That's how we mess up in relationships too, because you say you want something. Well, I want a husband, but then you get a husband, but you weren't surprised when he hands on and you don't want to be touched. You was tripping. Or I want a woman, but you weren't specific on what kind of woman you wanted. And I said this to some women we were talking about, great women in power, and they was like, I ain't taking care of no man. I said, what if a man don't want to take care of a woman and we want to work as a team? And he was, I don't want no man paying half of my bill. That's why you paying 100% of them. Yeah. So if you don't get understanding and learn this B word and they think we cussing, budget. Yeah. We have to be budget friendly with each other. I wouldn't even do a business deal with somebody if I don't run the numbers. Right. You need to run the numbers with you in your partnership too. What I look like buying a house and both our credit bad. Yeah. We have to learn how to build each other up. Yeah. I don't work for a knife cutting company. I'm not finna cut you up, and I'm not gonna let you cut me up. We have to understand the power in the tongue. Yeah. If I'm gonna speak life, I'm gonna speak life.
And I think one of the things that we don't do is we don't allow each other to be great where we're great at. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because that's how you become great yourself in something other than what it is you know. Yeah. You know, why would I have any relationships? Because a relationship only mean, you know what I mean, to have one with another. Exactly. Why would I have any kind of relationship if it has no value? Yeah. You get what I'm saying? Because, man, I see value within me. So that means I have something to offer. Right. Now that means that I see value in something else. It has something to offer. But am I going to accept the offering? Yeah. And will this accept the offering of me?
Yeah, because and you said this earlier, we all have luggage. A lot of people are in the baggage claim. They ain't claiming they luggage, and they dropping that on you. So if you don't go get healed, you going to carry that luggage and hit me with a bag of stuff, and I'm walking around got a knot on my head because I didn't know what was wrong with you. Right. And a lot of people are in denial, and they fail to do the work on themselves. That's why I say if you don't work in, it ain't going to work out. That's why you see people fall, because you're a public success and a private failure. Denzel get paid to act. I don't have time for acting. Now, if they cut me a check, that's a different conversation. But I'm not acting, man. This is my livelihood. Right. This is my life we playing with. I want to live and not die. I want to decree and declare. I don't want to have to be aware and see all these question marks around. Right. We have to learn, what are we doing with our hands? Am I helping you or am I hurting you?
It's so funny, man. I tell people, even though I know that my name is good, I would like to do things with a contract.
100%.
Reason why? Ain't no question marks in contracts.
At all. At all. That's why you run them numbers and make sure we get these details right.
So now when I'm ready to put a period behind these, I don't want to have no questions on the table. You get what I'm saying? Yeah. So if I trust in what I'm saying, then I'm willing to put it in black and white. Yeah. But I also want to be able to know, do you trust in what you're saying? And are you really willing to put it in black and white?
100%.
Because there's not going to be no question mark.
At all.
You know what I mean? It's going to be some periods behind it, which means that it's going to have an outcome. Yeah. You know? Yeah. And if we both stood on it, the outcome is going to be great.
It's going to be great.
But if one of us didn't stand on it, the one that actually did, it's still going to be great.
Even if you fall, you still got to go by that contract.
Right. So I look for it always to be great on my behalf. Yeah. Because I understand who I am and what it is that I naturally choose to do. Exactly. You know what I mean? So we're going to go into another quick video, man. But when we come back, I want to be able to really sit and talk with you a little bit, man, about entrepreneurship. Gotcha. And, man, how other people who looking to get into it or how some people into it and struggling and how you help change those things.
Cool.
All right. We'll be back.
I can go far, I can go far, I can go far. Holding my name. I can go far. Many sun, many moon, seas run change, gray skies turn. Everybody gotta live, everybody gotta die. Same thing to make you laugh, it's the same thing to make you cry. Spend many years in the field, going to war for my name. Day and nights,
got lost in the rain. I can't complain, it wouldn't help anyway. Gotta take the good with the bad, gotta turn the bad into good. Ain't what it seems, but it should. All day living, children dying, father leaving, mothers crying, family turning on their own. Baby too weak, be strong. Lady too soft, be hard. Then you gotta finish what you start. Said many sun, many moon, seasons change, gray skies turn blue. Everybody gotta live, everybody gotta die. The same thing to make you laugh, it's the same thing to make you cry. Many sun, many moon, seasons change, gray skies turn blue. Everybody gotta live, everybody gotta die. Same thing to make you laugh, it's the same thing to make you cry. Waiting in the wall, looking for a lead to the other side. Gotta pray hard. When I got God standing on my side, I can go far. Stuck in my thoughts, or to my pride, like I got faith. Hating my name, trials and tribulations, patient time got me pacing, heartbreak. Ain't nobody there when I really need them. It's crazy. Used to be the talk, I don't hear a word. It's so quiet. That's so crazy. Many sun, many moon, seasons change, gray skies turn blue. Everybody gotta live, everybody gotta die. The same thing to make you laugh, it's the same thing to make you cry. Many sun, many moon, seasons change, gray skies turn blue. Everybody gotta live, everybody gotta die. The same thing to make you laugh, it's the same thing to make you cry. Spending many years in the field, gonna war for my name. Plenty nights, got lost in the rain. I can't complain, it wouldn't help anyway. Gotta take the good with the bad, gotta turn the bad into good. It ain't what it seems, but it should. All day
I know it seemed like I turned my back, but it's far from true. How could I ever turn my back on the chosen? We back on the Transition Talk Show with my special guest today, Cordero, Roland. Man, let people know, man, a little bit about what you do, and man, how you're helping in the entrepreneurship world.
So my first love to everything was I knew how to get stuff, right? But back then, this is why I speak to my young kings, the men, because I didn't have a driver's license at the time, but I knew how to get a car.
Yeah.
Then I didn't understand the power of a financial structure. So when I understood financial literacy, my first love was credit.
Right.
So I was working at a job. I never forget. I was working on a railroad, and I shared this with my family. I said, "Hey man, I got a plan. Let's get 3 cars." I said, if you got one good car cash and it lasts 12, 13 months, when income tax come back around, because that's all I knew. We banking on January, February. Mm-hmm. Well, when God bless me with them taxes, I'm a bang. So I got my first car. I manifested them because I didn't have the money. That's when I understood the power of speaking. Right. But then I had to understand the power of knowing too. Right. So when I got my first car, I got a truck, I got a Grand Marquis, and then a year after that, I went and got a Durango. They were all cash. And I never forget the feeling I had got. And I'm looking out in the driveway. I'm like, man, I got me a mini car lot. And I would rent one of the cars out. Like every time somebody needed, I became my own transportation source. Right. When somebody needed something, but again, you can't do this with everybody. So then I understood, let me learn how this credit works, because I didn't know how it worked. Then I went and invested. You said this earlier. I invested in my brand. I started looking at Nike. I started looking at Puma, all these names, and then I looked at my name, Cordero Roland. I said, my name means something. My name is just as powerful as this brand. Mm-hmm. Let me brand myself. And I never forget this, bro. I invested into my name. I went and got my driver's license. Like, I remember this lady, man, she was being so hateful. And I was like, I start understanding adversity. I said, when I'm finna, it's called breakthrough for a reason. So I broke through and got my driver's license because the lady was like, you going to have to come back in 2 weeks. I said, you lying to me? I went home, went online, and went in Plano. Prayed over my car. I understand the power in prayer. Dude jumped in my car, put the seat back, drive. I was like, what? Drove, passed, got my license. Then I said, okay, cool. Now I can move more efficient. Then I understood the power in banking. It's a difference between a bank and a credit union. So when I started getting my credit, right, a lady, shout out to Elder Tammy Buller, she goes to my church. I ran into her at a Walmart. She said, go in this group on Facebook and they'll answer every question you have and they'll walk you through the process. By my wife being in the military, she followed behind me. So I said, let's go to Navy Federal. That was the key. So when I went to Navy, I got a secured credit card and I learned the power of 10%. Staying under 10%, 20%. And then you're building a relationship with the bank. So then it's not just about credit, it's about your credibility. So once I got access to, I think it was 2,000, I had to put 1,000 in and build it. Then the next month, I had access to another line of credit for 2,000. Then I said, okay, then shout out to my bro, Rod Warren. He coached me. He coached me for 5 years for free. This is why I tell people, man, one of my favorite scriptures is Matthew 7:7. It say, ask it shall be given. Here go the other key. Seeking you shall find, and then knocking it shall be open. So I was moving. So he told me how to be patient. He said, you don't scramble, be patient. Stay in this area for a month. Because he got money, but I wasn't impressed by the money he had. I was looking at what I had. Right. That's what we had to learn, the deck of cards we have and how to work our deck. Right. So when I understood the power of that credit union, then I think my first access was to like 15,000. Then I got another line of credit. So when I understood this is what we had to learn. Literacy and being patient. And this is where I came up with this analogy. You have to master your need so it'll provide what you want. Yep. Because in our community, we get wants and needs mixed up bad. Yep. Oh, I need a car, but you finna go to this buy now, pay now, where they robbing Peter to pay Paul and slap boxing with Saul. Yep. They raping people sideways. Yep. You gonna buy this car wholesale and mark the price up $32,500, and then now you got to pay $2,000 down. Full coverage insurance is gonna be another $200 depending on what your credit is and your MVR, which is your motor vehicle report. And now you out of $2,500. When if your credit would have been good, here go the key word, getting approved. Right. Zero money down. This exists if you learn the rules. Mm-hmm. And so I became successful telling people the truth. Because these companies will lie to you. Oh, you don't have to have no driver's license. Yeah, but you ain't looking at this fine print over here to the bottom right. Because people say you want to put something in a book and hide it from us. You put it in a book sometimes, they won't look. Mm-hmm. So what I did was I said, let me find a formula that I can give everybody. And I'm relatable, not deflatable. I can give you this information, you're going to use it. Right. And I'm not hiding nothing. That's what we mess up. When some people get to success, they don't fall so hard to get to the forefront. Mm-hmm. Now they like, I'm going to keep this to myself, not knowing you really killing your own blessing. Yep. Because I look at the concept of the assembly line. If I put 20 on this side, 20 on this side, we all finna win. Right. You know what I mean? Right. So I'm showing you the concept where it's wash, repeat, wash, repeat. Say, hey, brother, $20 the next Friday ain't going to help you. But access to this 20,000 will. And showing you the skill set to have. It ain't no different between you going on a job and they giving you orientation. I'm giving you orientation before you even go in the office. I'm gonna show you what they gonna expect from you. Yeah. You need to have your expectation, what you want, and your goals. I need a house. I need a car. I need financial security. I need to understand what financial tool do you have that's gonna benefit my life. So when you go in there to this banker, you know, people don't know, well, do we got to schedule a call? No, most of them, they sitting in there waiting on you. You go in there and write your name down and go in there and talk. And a lot of time that's where we hurt, because we look at that as a threat. Oh man, my credit already jacked up and I'm not going to get approved. My credit was jacked up. Right. You know what I mean? Right. And if I knew if I don't fix this, you're going to pay for it either way it go. You either going to pay now or you're going to pay later. You finna go get this man $2,500 when you can use a fraction of that money and spend it on your name. Because some people are afraid of sacrifice. That's what killed our community, because you're afraid of sacrifice, but you finna go in this multifamily unit and pay these people $2,500 a month when you could invest in your own house.
And I say it like this, man, because I don't believe I don't really believe that we're afraid of sacrifice. Not because, man, we are always risking us. Yeah. But I believe that we're afraid of obedience. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I believe that, because obedience goes against what I naturally know. Yeah. I've already been taught wrong. Mm-hmm. So I stick with it. Mm-hmm. That's a heck of a sacrifice. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Or the word is procrastination. Yep. That's a key word because they'll be like, oh, I had a person, I just fixed their credit. It took them 2 years to come to me. Then the other person, I had to send them to the block party because they kept playing with their purpose. Right. I know the difference. This is why I separate the serious from the curious. I done gave you the playbook. I don't believe in don't hate the player, hate the game. I believe in learning the game. Learn the playbook. Then I know how to play the game. Then we can be an MVP.
Man, you know that, I'm going to tell you something. Like experience, man, experience is key.
Yeah, experience is key.
And I'm going to tell you what happened to me, man.
I'll add this one too. I'll add this one real quick. This is why I tell one guy, I said, we was talking before I went into business, I gave him the relatable concept. I said, you know about the Cowboys, right? Yeah, I said, I'm a Cowboys fan to an extent. This is why I say that. Jerry Jones ain't cutting me no check. They lose. I ain't on that franchise. Now, if I were getting a check, that'd been different. Right. So I learned not to put so many emotions in it. I said, you watching the game for free. Watch this. Okay, a touchdown is what, 6 points? A field goal, if it's not a touchdown, is what, 3 points? Watch this. Okay, if I score a touchdown and kick a field goal, that's what, 1 point? Watch this. How do you know that game and those points, but you don't understand these credit points?
Yeah.
It's the mind, man.
And see, the thing, like I was going to say, is like, I remember, man, when I went to college, right? Mm-hmm. And when I got to college, man, it seemed like it was a big difference in size.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I didn't care about the speeds or nothing like that. I felt prepared for that.
Mm-hmm.
What I wasn't prepared for was the size. There was such a big difference, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when I went to college, I went to play on the defensive line,
mm-hmm.
right? So I went to my coach, and I'm like, man, I want to play here.
Right.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He said, well, if you want to play there, I need you to learn every position
mm-hmm.
on that line. At that time, from where we come from,
mm-hmm.
we really wasn't taught on how to read playbooks.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So this dude is telling me to understand a playbook like
something
this.
You know nothing about.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And for not just the position I wanted and where I was at,
mm-hmm.
learn them all.
Yeah.
And when you come out here, be able to run them all.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So
who did you have to help you? That's the question.
Man, for one, it was him.
Okay.
Because if you challenge me, you
mm-hmm.
know what I mean, then you the teacher.
Right.
So if I got questions, I'm going back to the teacher.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Because there are people already out there, and I want what you got.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So, and understand the words. It's a want.
Yeah. Versus the need.
I want to play.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'm playing, but I want to play somewhere else.
Right.
And this is where we at in life. We want so much.
Mm-hmm.
But how can you want it if you're not willing to learn?
Yeah.
How to get it?
Yeah.
If you want to be in the game,
mm-hmm.
you have to learn how to play the game.
That's why I said that. you just confirmed what I said.
So when you said it, that's what actually just triggered
it. Activated.
Back,
It's 3 keys that I use in that, bro. It's listen, learn, and apply.
Yeah.
You got to listen first. And like I remember, I so thank God for wisdom. My grandmother used to say, if you listen to me, you're going to learn something. I'm going to learn you something. So when you listen first, then you have to learn it. Then you'll be able to apply. It's like, I look at it like playing a video game. I was a big gamer back in 2004, 2005. I was a big game. We stay up all night, even back in the 90s. But what I learned was the code. I said, man, if I learn this code right here, I'm going to kill these jokers, man.
Mm-hmm.
They couldn't beat me. I was killing them. So I started looking at finances and in life in general, in business the same way. I said, somebody got a code, man. Yep. And they call it a cheat code. Really ain't a cheat code. He has a formula that's still working. Yeah, and it's an old saying, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Yep. So I learned, I said, let me find the people who has a well-oiled machine. But again, you have to find what is it going to take for me to get right here?
Yep.
And the word is sacrificing time and investment.
Yep.
That's another word, invest in you. Quit investing in Gucci and Louis Vuitton when I'm first making sure you good.
Mm-hmm.
That brand don't mean nothing to me if I'm broke getting it. A lot of people get that success and get that money, but if they don't understand the financial literacy side of it, that's what's going to eat you alive. And so what I started teaching was the credit part of it first. And then instead of me going and sending out all the letters, shout out to my brother Odine Lawrence with the Real Credit Deal, I learned the power of joint ventures. Right. That's another key to success. I don't want to own 100% of nothing and my profit is 0.
Yeah.
So if I get a partnership and we got passive income coming in, that's where it's at. Everybody that's successful, like Shaquille O'Neal, he don't own 100% of these business. That man got over access to all those companies because he understands the power of joint ventures.
Right.
So I do credit with him where we have VAs. We got virtual assistants. So if I put somebody, call them on the line, and it's Rhonda Williams, whatever, she give me her email address, her phone number, I put her in the system, and I have my virtual assistant take care of them. Then they see, okay, if I download this app, I can see what's being removed from my profile. And it works. Right. That's another key. I got something that works.
Right.
Once they see that it works, it's like, oh, wow. So if they go mess up, which some of them do, they go mess their credit up, they're going to have to call me again, and we're going to repair it again. Right. And so I said, now you can move fast or you can move slow. Because I do personal and business credit. But people don't realize the difference. In order to have that business credit right, your personal got to be right too. Yeah. Because once you get them intertwined, you're going to be off because your personal credit is bad. Then you go to business. And then another thing I just recently learned through my brother Marcus, the insurance guru, is we have to learn how to use these insurance policies. You have to know the difference between what an IUL means. It's an investment universal life insurance policy that you can use, and these things work hand in hand. Yeah. That's the financial literacy tool now that I go into the communities and I show the minority and the majority.
Yeah,
we need to know
most
this.
People have no life insurance rather than whole life
insurance. Because so you have a term, which if you pass away, the beneficiary gets that. But that investment index fund, you actually can pull from that while you still yet live. They call it a life insurance with living benefits.
See, that's why I say most people have a no life policy. That
term.
Policy.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
And some people don't have no life insurance at all, and we trying to come up with a fish fry to bury they behind. Yeah, and that's why I started telling the people around us, like, I believe in the in-house and then the out-house, not the slavery mentality. In-house meaning your first family is your first key to business. Mm-hmm. Make sure everybody in the house is good, the ones that's willing. Again, this key word is willing. You have to be willing to learn. You have to be willing to be a team player. I'm a natural builder. I'm a natural leader. I'm a natural team player because I know how to grab a mic, go to the forefront, and I know how to go in the back and serve. Yep. That's where we mess up at because a lot of people don't have service. Think about this, bro. Watch this. I'm going to twist this one. You got to know the difference between customer service. I flip it and service the customer. Yeah. If I service the customer, I leave an impression on you. When I leave, they say, I don't know who that guy was. I love that brother. Yeah.
I mean, like it's the same difference. People say, you know what I mean? Everybody want to be a chief, but not an Indian.
Exactly.
But a chief is an Indian. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Everybody want to call themselves a king, but a king is a knight. You know what I mean? Which means that, man, he knows how to go to battle too. Mm-hmm. He ain't just sitting on the throne. Yeah. You know? So these things are important, when you're looking at, structure.
Yeah. You got to have the infrastructure, bro.
Yeah, you got to be able to have that. Man, what I want you to be able to do before we get up out of here, though, I want you to be able to give people, man, your information on how they can reach you.
So you can reach me on Instagram at Cordero _the_chosen one. So it's Cordero the chosen one. So, and on Facebook you can look up Cordero Roland and I'll pop up there as well. And I'm gonna give 3 shout outs because people gotta understand, man, I get busy and one of my mottos is I support my peeps in these streets. So shout out to Gospel Tabernacle, which is the church I'm at now, MSC Dallas, which is another ministry I'm affiliated with, and then the last one is shout out to OG Jay, man. Jay has been a thumbprint in everything I got going on, right? He's a part of my concept. If I can't build with you, I can't chill with you. I built with this brother, and he gave me access to other things. He did something so powerful. I'll share this before we get out of here. He was speaking at this Manifested Millions. It was a vision board party, one of the most powerful events I've been to. Shout out to Devin Ann, too. He got up out of his seat, bro. He got paid to speak at that event. That man got up and gave that brother gave his microphone to me and let me speak. And I heard somebody say, what this Negro doing up here? But when I got in there and shifted the room, when I went to go sit down, the same person that said that was like, you should have been up here to begin with. And I'm so grateful for that, bro, because we have to understand the power in us. Yep. I ain't never seen nobody do that, man. Yep. And he showed me the power of sharing. I've always been that way anyway, but for me to actually see it from the other side, because we fight so hard with adversity, bro, it was hard for me to receive those blessings because I was fighting all the time to get where I was. When I seen a brother like you that was willing and sharing, that's why I appreciated you when I saw your power and you flowing in your gift. I appreciate those around me because I want us all to win, man. That's the key.
That's the whole thing. And man, shout out to Jay.
Yeah,
everybody know that's my brother,
that's my brother, man.
I'm the little one. You know what I mean? I look like the
little big brother.
You know?
Yeah. You like me?
Yeah, man. But straight up, one thing about Jay, is that for me,
Mm-hmm.
because no matter all the people that's around him, I've been there the longest.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and he was a person who I learned from.
Yeah.
Very, very young. I was real young when I told him, I said, look, bro, I don't want to be bigger than you because I can never learn from you.
Right.
If I get bigger than you.
Mm-hmm.
You have been somebody that I've been able to continuously learn from. You know what I mean? And even when growth began to happen, then what we wind up coming to understanding is that so we don't blind each other.
Right.
Sometimes we have to go different paths to be able to come back around.
It's
you know
necessary.
What I mean? Full circle. You know, and when it has came back around this time in our life, all the connections in which we have now, you know, have been greater connections because, man, we move in spirit.
Yeah.
You know, I don't just do this on my own.
Yeah.
You know, it's a team.
Yeah, it is.
You know, it's a family. You know, it's a tribe.
Yeah.
So if it's me,
Yeah.
then it's you.
Yeah.
And if it's you, then
It's
you.
me. Yeah.
And then if it's you, then it's you. You
Yeah,
know,
it keep
this
moving.
is how you begin to really understand the power of that type of
Yeah.
unity.
Yeah.
And man, he was a person who really showed me that because man, I was a person who was just straight out against all odds, against the grain.
Yeah.
And he opened up in a way to allow me to really drop my defense.
Yeah.
But then even when I did, he never tried to harm me. He only blessed me.
Exactly.
And he blessed me enough to...
He was a helping hand, not a hurting hand. Yeah.
Exactly. So my hands became helping hands.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So, man, shout out to bro, man. I love you, man. We wrapping up to the end of the show. You guys tune in with us next week on the Transition Talk Show. I appreciate you, man, for coming
appreciate
out,
you,
man,
brother,
sharing
having
with
me.
us, man.
Yes, sir.
Hey, we're going to keep on doing it, you know.
Every time.
Till next week, you guys.
Salute.
Video shot by billions. When I'm spitting what I'm living, he gon' show you so you feel it.
Respect the name. Fifth floor, I'm hustling, man. Every day I'm with it. Grinding hard like I get it. Whole team, we flexing. On your neck, I'm pressing. Then we dropping out here. Haters hate how we live. Get the cash. Sweet game, we taste the bag. Not just music, this real life. I ain't tripping on the price. Camera got me taking flights. Camera got me rocking flights. Shawty wants me for 3 nights. But all I wanna do is stack my money to the top. Foreign car, drop top. Biggest house on my block. Never would my grind stop. Glue J's, I got a cup. All I wanna
Do is go get money like a armored truck. Ride clean, sip lean, and keep them crumbling Zaza blunts. Side piece, low key. Love when I drive cause she suck me up. Really get live after 2 or 3 cups. So the Snoop Dogg wine, she drunk as fuck. Got off my ass, got the bag. Watch me as I'm running up. I'm stacking cash, moving fast. Grind a holic to sum it up. Always ballin', stay too turned up. No more starving, on God we trust. Yeah, I'm solid, running bullshit up. Pimp on bar, we got me
all
fucked
I wanna
up.
do is stack my money to the top. Foreign car, drop top. Biggest house on my block. Never would my grind stop. Glue J's, I got a cup. All I wanna.
On a mission, I got to get it. Hustling's big business. Running for a multi-million. I put my all in it. We winning. Foreign cars, clean like pin to ceiling. AMG, CLK, limited edition. 36 inches on expedition. Dreams of a bubble, but resilient. Don't play with me, my nigga. We keep heavy ammunition. Trying to reach the top position. Niggas never letting up. Stack money is the must. If I ain't spending it, I'm putting
All I
it up.
wanna do is stack my money to the top. Foreign car, drop top. Biggest house on my block. Never would my grind stop. Glue J's, I got a cup. All I wanna do is stack my money to the top. Foreign car, drop top. Biggest house on my block. Never would my grind stop. Glue J's, I got a cup. All I wanna.